There it is.
Hello? Sorry I missed your call. Leave your name and number and I will get back with you.
Hello, Camille. It's Chris Bennett calling, and I'm recording a video right now of an impromptu invitation. And so I'm going to post this on YouTube that you could share with a few people. And so here's what I have in mind is inviting Zachary Levi to deliver 3,000 books to give one to every member of your tribe. 3 or 4,000, whatever it takes. So as gifts, Christmas gifts. And they could arrive on Christmas if possible. It's an invitation to Zachary to come too. He could come on Christmas or hopefully before New Year's to then talk about the contents and to talk about the idea of healing the whole tribe. Like going on a journey, which we're inviting Zachary to participate in leading. So in 20 years of investigation into this subject, over 20 years, he's the best guy that I've heard at talking about it. And he's got an amazing story. So he's on the journey himself. He's not just, an intellectual. He's not just been studying it. He's been living the path, walking the path. So let's see. You said in our last phone call that the biggest problem is, well, yeah, we all know that our tribe is traumatized. There's a video that I sent you of your son, Kiowa, saying our whole, people are traumatized from what the white people did. So, let's see. But what's difficult is getting them to face it and deal with it and fix it. And what is the fix, on the other hand? So what I figured out is how to make it all palatable, tasty, so they gobble it up like a delicious homemade chocolate eclair from Wolfgang Puck himself. So the real cure is not one thing that the experts are a little bit off on. The real cure is not you gotta tap into and face and feel and consume and release all the terrible things that happened to you in the past, whether they're medium, big, or small. The real cure is good news therapy. So, but the problem is that we are currently and for all human history bombarded by bad news from all directions of society. So I've got a book here called Raising Children in a Socially Toxic Environment by James Garbarino, a super expert on why kids become violent. So we live in that socially toxic environment, and the symptom is 95% of us get hypertension, which is, according to the top experts on post-traumatic stress, that's a symptom of post-traumatic stress. So we're all getting it. We all have it to some degree. Because we all, like in a fishbowl in which the water's not getting changed enough, we're all living on planet Earth and we're all connected. So 8 billion people, it turns out, in fact, are connected. One person is connected to the next, 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 to the next. So the cure is for a radical change across the planet where the human beings realize we're all getting sick from toxic stress. There's stress, and then there's toxic stress. So toxic stress is when bad things happen or we hear about uh, people suffering, or we suffer in many different forms. So poverty, hunger, etc. Um, so your whole tribe, there's different tribes. We all live in tribes. Some tribes are smaller and more close knit. Other tribes are more spread out and diverse. Um, some of us live in very small tribes of, our small family. What's unique about your tribe is that your tribe has a lot of tight connections within a lot of people that are suffering. Okay, so I'll go through the history a little bit. 35 years ago, I met Patricia's your daughter-in-law. Let's just say it the way it is. They're pretty much married. So her great aunt, I met her up in the mountains in a beautiful resort with cabins in a healing program. It was 10 days long, where you spend a lot of time trying to understand, identify certain negative things that happen to your life, and then talk about them and get them cleared up. And a group of maybe 100. And there's exercise and healthy eating. And my dad was an advisor that set up the healthy living dimension. So my father was a professor of medicine at UCLA for 35 years, founding medical director of the Pritikin Longevity Center, which is the longest profitable healthy living program in the world, now in a Trump-owned hotel on Miami Beach. A similar kind of situation when you have 100 people live in a hotel for a month, exercise and eat right, and they can bring their blood pressure down and get off the drugs, and their high cholesterol down and get off the drugs, and their high blood sugar and get off the drugs. I don't know. Back then, they didn't focus on mental health, depression and addictions as much, but it can affect those just as easily. So it can cure those also. So back then, Patricia, what's her name? So Sandra Yellowhawk Irwin. So we spent some time together in our group. She stood up and she told the whole group that her tribe needs help. And she was crying. She started crying. Trouble. And I can't remember, barely remember it, but I remember it clearly. Don't remember a lot of the details. So around 20 years ago, I got started on all this. After around 2000, I started doing research at UCLA to update my father's book. Right here. In 12 weeks, you can control your high blood pressure without drugs. So, the cure is in here for what's going on in your tribe. In 12 weeks, you can control most of your health problems, addictions, etc., and all associated problems. Okay, how? Because most of those things are caused by toxic stress overload. So how does my dad's program work? You identify the stressors. They're sores that cause stress. They're emotional sores, relationship sores, broken things, broken relationships, bad memories. Okay, so, and then you clear them up. So, now that right now might seem like your house is on fire, you're cemented to the floor. Okay, you're the house. You're on fire, and the hose is out of reach. Okay, how do you self-extinguish whatever's bothering you if you're listening to this? Okay, it's coming in from all directions, from your neighbors, from your friends. Everybody's having problems. Okay, it's a vicious cycle. So, okay, radical good news therapy. Are you getting bored yet? Okay, let me wake you up. Okay, so we want to go on a mission. We want to deliver 3,000 books, Zachary Levi's books, 3,000 of my dad's books. There's at least 10 books that have got the cure, and we're going to invite the people that wrote them to come along because they know the cure. Okay? Now, I know 99% of you probably don't read. Like everybody, I don't know anybody that reads. Okay, but the point is not for you to read the books yet. The point is for you to get them, and then we're going to talk about them. When you heal, you're going to be able to read them. Okay? And you're going to have them in your house, and you can open them up and read one sentence at a time. And as you feel better with our program, so let me tell you what the cure is. Good news therapy. Okay? So there's 10 things we're going to come up with. They're going to radically change that entire community and put a smile on everybody's face without ecstasy or cocaine or marijuana or alcohol. Okay? It's like reality therapy. Good news therapy. Okay? So the fact is that your entire community has been left like a semi-disaster zone from what happened a little over 100 years ago. So we're going to be investigating that, acknowledging it, and it's all about radical reparations. Okay? So that may sound impossible, but if you got 10 super celebrities on your team, okay, and I got a friend who knows the Trumps, he already has gotten my proposals in there. Okay, for creating a presidential Heal America task force. So start at the Grand Canyon and the tribe, and it can echo out to the entire country and beyond. Okay? A shot heard around the world. We're going to light the 8th fire together. We're going to light the 8th fire. Do you know what that means? We're going to invite Chief Avril Looking Horse. He's on a mission of global healing for 40 years. He's the spiritual leader of the Lakota Nation. I spoke to him. I spoke to his wife. They're hanging on by a thread themselves from family trauma drama. Okay? So, they're very spiritual. They seem to be very spiritual, healed people themselves. They're trying to share the healing message for 40 years. Okay, but certain people in their family and beyond, you can't, as it's been, how do you save everybody? Okay, people go their own way. They're pulled in all kinds of directions. So, but there's this prediction that your people have been carrying around for hundreds of years about that. Is there a peace pipe involved here? There's a white buffalo involved, and it just got born really recently. I saw the video with Chief Looking Horse, and the prediction is, what is it, 1,000 years old? No, it's thousands of years old. When that white buffalo calf gets born, it's an opportunity for a radical global transformation in which the white people and the Native Americans come together and lead the world down a new path. Okay, so I read that, just read it on Wikipedia. The 7th and 8th fire prophecy. I read the whole dang thing, and that's exactly what I've been working on for over 20 years. So it started like with Chaplain George Russell Barber. He was the last living chaplain. He landed on Normandy Beach on D-Day. He gave me these New Testaments. Oops. Okay. I got all my sticky notes. I'm going to read something from here. Did he sign it? He signed it right here. Okay. I got 11 hours of video with him. This is 2000. 3 years later, I filmed 11 hours of video with him where I shared all the research I was finding about, everybody on the planet's traumatized. Here's the cure. All the experts have it right here. Okay, so why haven't you been getting the cure? I found out. I finally found out. I mean, I suspected it for years. Now I have a video proof. It's going to shock you. Why haven't you all gotten the cure? You agree you all have it. Why didn't you hear about the cure? Why didn't somebody say, hey, here's the cure, guys? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay. I got video proof now. I just did it a month ago. Let it sink in, please. Some things are really, really important. Watch the video. It's 6 or 7 minutes long. Okay. During the Vietnam War, there was a group of two that I know of there. Shad Me Shad and Charles Figley. And they were working in a MASH unit. Maybe different ones. I don't know if they knew each other. Seeing the guys come in, you know, the bodies, the injuries, having to say, this one goes there, that one goes there. Oops, we're out of this. Oh my God, what are we going to do? Also, that was one job. Then in between, psychologist, therapist in hell. Can you imagine therapist in hell? I'm a therapist in hell. Can you imagine going down and wait? I don't think there's a hell actually, but if there was, and I'm a therapist. Oh, you're being tortured, and now I got a therapy. Nope, sorry, can't leave. Sorry, let me call up, see if you can get out of here yet. Nope, the general says no, you can't leave yet. Sorry. And he's in a MASH unit behind enemy lines. Except he told me one time there was a big explosion. So maybe some bomb hit nearby. Okay, yeah, here's the story. Okay, I saw him. Okay, so Shad said, you know, he'd have these people come, the people on the front lines come in and say, I can't kill anymore. Oh my God, here's what happened. I can't go out there anymore. I can't watch people get killed anymore. I can't take the bombs anymore. So he'd call in. If I have to do it anymore, I'm going to do something bad. Okay, I'm going to call the bosses. Okay, I'm going to call the generals. Let's see, I've got 3 people today who say, no way. Is it 3? I mean, he must have had like numbers every day. Like 10, maybe it was 10 some days, 20 some days, 5. So he sends in the report to the bosses, wherever they are, Paris, Washington. Let's see, this guy, he said he's going to kill somebody. This guy said, I can't take the explosions anymore. Okay, then Shad has to say, go back to, then they say, half of them, they say, yes, okay, so take him home. The other one, they say, nope, sorry, we can't let that many go. They get sent back in to kill. Nope, sorry, you gotta go kill some more. Okay, sorry. I've been working for 25 years, okay, to get the cure out. I'm gonna tell you why, and then I'm gonna wind it up because once again I'm getting interrupted. Okay, I've had millions of dollars stolen from us. Everybody I know is afflicted. So, Patricia, Camille, you know, I met all your sons, I met your husband. You guys are all not afflicted, except it's the people beyond, okay, that are causing to get the spiral down. Okay, I've had sabotage 20 or 30 times that I've been trying to get this information out. Okay, so this is a very important message I'm giving you right now. Okay, there's a possibility your family has been getting arrested because of your connection to my projects. So, I think God has been pulling us all together to make something special happen now. But at the same time, we need to be aware of, there's been more than 10 people in my network who have died. Some of them seem to have been murdered in the last 20 years that I've been working on this, 25 years. Okay. There's two critical things I've been going after that have been... Okay. My friend who worked in the CIA under JFK, that's where the information started to flow to me. I met him 30 years ago. He's the one who introduced me to Chaplain Barber. So, what I found out recently, so I started meeting with the experts on post-traumatic stress back 2002. I flew out to Florida, met Charles Figley. He's one of the people that was in Vietnam. So Charles Figley and Shad Mishad were both in Vietnam in a MASH unit. Then when they came back to the United States, they saw that the veterans are getting misdiagnosed as being insane when they just have post-traumatic stress. Oh yeah, you have schizophrenia. You have bipolar disorder. You have Maligner's disorder. You have borderline personality disorder. Yeah, you need drugs. I don't know what they were treating it with. Okay, so that really bothered them, and they saw, no, this is post-traumatic stress. And then the DSM left it out, the next one. Okay, so they all got together, and then they got together with John Kerry, who was a Vietnam veteran, who was a senator. I met him about 6 years ago in person and gave him some of my stuff. Then Jane Fonda, she got really involved. And Bessel van der Kolk, a psychiatrist, I think. And there's a bunch of them, a few others. So they all started pushing the issue that the veterans need the real diagnosis of post-traumatic stress from being at war and having to kill people and seeing a bunch of bad stuff. Okay, so they got it on the map. And so then they started writing about the cure in a bunch of books and studies, and it all got suppressed from the medical system and from the veterans. So that's why 22 veterans are killing themselves every day. I know that Sandra Yellowhawk's brother, I think, hung himself in the jail, or somebody in the family in Peach Springs, Arizona. Her sister, Patricia's sister, died just 6 months ago from being put in jail repeatedly, and then diagnosed with having a mental illness and put on drugs, and then being on parole, and then she was on the run from parole, parole for having a drug problem or something. So it's a toxic system, and so putting people in jail leads to a worse problem. That's what's going on. And so we want to break that cycle immediately, like on Christmas. Okay, so you got to stop the bad news and start the good news. That's the cure. So, it's a lot more than that. But for God's sake, let's just get started. Okay, so Zachary Levi is on a mission to share the cure. So it's right there on his cover of his book. He wants to share the cure now with the whole world. And as far as I could tell, he doesn't have any other major celebrities. None of his friends have jumped up and said, hey, I want to participate in that. Okay, so he's just dying. Okay, but he needs the whole cure. Okay, it's a longer story, but he got out of his program, and had a lot of healing, but he's still very depressed, and taking antidepressants he's shared. So he has 68 acres in Austin. He wants to build a healing resort and a new studio. And so I want to invite him to give a free copy to everybody in your tribe and go on a healing mission. And then he'd be like a consultant ongoingly to heal the whole tribe. So, and then, let's see, I'll wrap it up. Okay, but good news, okay? I'll tell you a few things, okay? It's pretty simple. Okay, but you got to get away from the no way Jose thingy, all right? We can at least try. We can talk about it. All right, so your whole tribe is owed $100 billion, hundreds maybe, hundreds of billions of dollars, potentially, for what was done. And then subsequently, the kidnapping of all the kids. So I want to invite Paris Hilton. I got her autobiography here. So she had the same thing happen to her that happened to every single child that was every single one of your ancestors in one of the generations. So the entire generations of kids at gunpoint, kidnapped, and then tortured and abused, okay, for like 10 or 20 years. How long? I don't even know the whole story. Okay, so, and then there's a genocide 130 years ago. Okay, so here's an interesting factoid. All right, there was this cavalry unit that this is all on Wikipedia, that went to the Hualapai Tribe and committed the genocide that killed, a quarter of the tribe back then. So after, driving there out of their lands, and then they ended up in the Grand Canyon, or, I'm a little vague on the details. That exact same cavalry division, 30 years later, some of them must have changed, but the same unit number went to the Philippines and did a massive genocide there with Teddy Roosevelt. Waterboarding, murder, rape, beheadings, killed maybe 10%, I don't know. They confiscated all the swords. It led to decades of war. They confiscated thousands of swords, beautiful swords, all the weapons. My brother and I have been purchasing. We now have hundreds of them. Some of them came from that time period, hundreds of swords. Some of them came from that time period. We're working on repatriating them so we can heal the Philippines. They're having the same problems out there. I've got partners on my team. They're having the same problems out there. And, the people coming from there are having the same problems that your tribe is having. So we've got these hot spots that we're going to be discussing and bringing healing to. We're going to deliver copies of the book, and we're going to be talking. So whether or not people can read, we can go out there and talk about it, get the discussion going, and start going down the path. Okay, so the reparations, okay, the water situation, they've been up just north of the Grand Canyon or wherever, there's these alfalfa farmers that have been sucking the river dry and using up more than half of the water. Okay, so that's got to stop. All that water needs to go down to the tribe, down to Peach Springs, create springs, create rivers, farming, make it green, trees, jobs. You get billions of dollars invested there, then creates jobs, makes everybody happy. Money can buy you love. Money can buy you love. Okay, if you've been living in poverty that was created by a cycle of poverty from a long time ago, and you get a massive infusion to make everything right, to make it right. Stop those nuclear power plants from getting built. Clean everything up there. We may take $100 billion, billions of dollars to clean up the nuclear problem. Okay, there's a list that our leaders in Washington have been perpetrating. And so I've got all the information on what they've been doing and how to fix it. Let's get started.